Jason Warner had told me that the static portraits look kind of strange, and they're not moving, right? And
Right.
so now I have the ability to kind of do that again. And so I don't know if you can see it on the stream right now, but the portraits end up being able to move, which is new. And it takes the skybox from the level that you're currently on, and puts it behind them. So I'm rendering to a render texture, a separate camera for the
Oh, okay.
portraits, and then swapping out. And then I use the same system for swapping textures that I did before using the dialogue system, except now it's swapping out render textures instead of regular textures.
Oh, okay. So when you're doing that, are you just setting a camera in front of that guy, or is there like a copy of
Yeah,
that guy there, or?
there's a copy of him. So often the distance here. Oh, you can't really see it. There we go. It'll show up on the stream in a second here. We gotta figure out how to show you
Excuse me, sorry.
my screen. Um, yeah, so you can kind of see they're just like floating off in space over here, but
Oh,
they're
okay, yeah.
now responsible for those portraits to happen, and so it gives it a little bit more life. I'm wondering if I should even make it so that they kind of like the skulls end up moving up and down a little bit or something, just to kind of give them some.
Oh, just kind of make it bob a little.
Yeah, because like if you look at his portrait when it's the imp, he's like looking around and stuff and looking all nervous, and so yeah, they've been kind of interesting. But like other levels are should have a similar effect, but have different skyboxes behind them.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
really like that. It's a cool technique, and I think you see it in a lot of games. Like, just adds a little bit of life there. We can add some animation and just make the 2D thing seem alive, right? So
yeah,
you either got to do something like that or some sort of like particle animations or other things around your UI. That one's really cool though. Just doing a render texture with a camera. And it's pretty neat, easy effect to add in.
yeah. It looks so much better than what was there before, which I just thought was really cool. So yeah, so that I got a little bit more of that to kind of work in there. There's some other characters that don't have their renderers in place yet, but that was the proof of concept I worked on earlier today. And then on the first level, let me see here, and I gotta go and fix this for the other levels now too. But enemies now kind of light up when you hit them a little bit. So just because I got the feedback that it was a little too hard to tell that the enemies were getting hit. And so it ended up being pretty good looking. I also have that mouse icon in the back. I'm going to take that out though. Just give it an idea of like what to give people an idea of what to do. So yeah, but Jason also had this idea to like make it dialogue. So it'll be something like if you left click in the game, pop up a dialogue saying that it's not. So you can kind of see how like as soon as they touch the sword, they kind of like flash now. And
Huh.
so
That's cool.
yeah, it gives a lot more life to the hit.
Yeah, I think it definitely adds a lot there. So I hadn't even thought about that before, that because it seemed like you're knocking them back and the guys are going flying, but I think the flash just adds a big. That's weird how like a tiny little thing adds quite a bit.
Yeah, so like they stagger a little bit when you hit them and they don't die yet. Because I recently added more life, more health to each of the enemies.
Right.
And so the stagger, it just, I guess, people playing it were having a hard time with that, with kind of dealing with the stagger. And so now the stagger, obviously, the stagger happens and then their body gets like a brief emission and then they see it, shortly after. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the emission's hard to miss, right? That big yellow red flash on there.
Yeah.
So even if they don't notice the staggering part, that's definitely going to stand out.
I also added a camera there, so right now what you can see on the stream is like this a hallway that never used to, that you'd lose your character for a brief moment. So I added a couple more clear shot cameras to the demo as well. Oh, that guy's head is stuck in the floor.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm watching him go through there. So, and the clear shot cameras, they worked out pretty well, it sounds like then?
Yeah, I mean, so I had a lot of trouble with them early on because they just would, certain cameras would get priority when I wouldn't expect them to, and that was frustrating. But I haven't, like, this is the only level that has clear shot cameras on them. I'm still trying to figure out whether or not I want to use them. But I might need something better where it's like the clear shot system ends up taking over only every once in a while. And so I still got to figure that out. But
yeah, I mean, with your game, I think since you're so tightly confined on your movement and stuff, you don't necessarily need it. You could definitely, use some other more, I guess, hard set cameras. I think the clear shot one's just nice when you have a big, like a variety of how your level could go and where your player could go, and you want to just show them no matter where they go. Here, since you're on a path, I think you want to have a tighter control over that. Maybe use more like the dolly cameras that move around, literally like a Hollywood style dolly on a track, right?
yeah.
Or something like that. Might be a better fit for a game that's on rails like this.
Yeah, and I've always been kind of like thinking, what would it look like if I took it off of Rails? So that's always been a thought. And I don't know, one thing I could do is give the imp kind of WASD controls instead, and so I've always been thinking about that too, and it would work really well there, I think. And so also the procedurally generated levels, the Dungeon Architect ones, I didn't set up the clear shot cameras on, so I just used that static camera floating over the character. And so I don't know, I mean, it's a thought. There's been a lot of kind of feedback about like inventory system sort of stuff and other things like that, and so
have you tried the WASD movement setup at all, or played with it at all? Because it does seem interesting and completely different. Like, it would definitely change your game dramatically. Obviously, you'd have to make like a level based around it, but I think that would be interesting. I mean, I think everybody that wants to see that in chat should say so too.
Yeah, exactly.
And wish us it like.
I don't even know if we would, you would need to make a new level. I just need to change the way that the escort system works to stop following the waypoints. So that's something that we could just try right now and see and prototype it. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be pretty interesting to see how you can totally change a game from one game mode to another.
So it would be like WASD, but then you'd still spin, and you'd have to like, I don't know, maybe concentrate twice as hard as you're like moving around and exploring or whatever.
So then instead of nav mesh stuff, you just like change your controls, or what are you thinking there?
Okay, so right now the nav mesh just goes to different points. And so, but in reality, we could just like walk on the nav mesh anyway. But the main thing is that we have these like waypoints. And so literally if I just, so the waypoint system here, I could just turn that off, and so he should just stop moving at that point. So we can like see that real fast. And I'm trying to remember how his animations are controlled, but yeah, so obviously I'll just like click through this stuff, and he's not going to get his new target. He's just going to stand there, right? So at this point then, like taking on the WASD piece, let's take a look at that script and just see what it's doing right now. Yeah, maybe I should commit that to source control before making any big changes, but
that would be a good idea. Yeah, re-enable that script, commit real quick so that before you break everything, you can go back and then
Yeah. So the waypoints come up, and then it just becomes the nav mesh controller that you attach to. So like one thing we could do is just move around, give it a static target, and move that target around with WASDA, and then he would just chase after it really, and then everything else should work the same.
Um, kind of, but you just got to make sure that like you don't want to have an object that you're moving separate from him. So if you hit left, then like it's still just moving your target to the left, right? And you want to keep that. If you're going to do it that way, you want to keep the target relative to the object there.
Yeah. So I
Right.
could
In
make,
fact, you probably don't even really need to have a target. You could just get a position in that direction, and set that as the destination.
all right. So I'm just gonna push that, and we're good. Okay. Well, okay. So like the really quick kind of.
I think the simplest script you'd have for it would just be a single one that reads input and then sets the Nav Mesh Agent's destination to its current position plus some offset based on that input along the X and Z axis. So that way you're either going northeast, south, or west from your current position. The first version wouldn't take into account height differences, but you just update it to do a raycast and handle that afterwards.
I'm wondering, you know the Ethan like prototyping set that they have? Doesn't he have a character controller on him?
I think he just uses the default character controller.
Third person character script, maybe?
That sounds right, yeah.
And so does that actually have...
That's not using the nav mesh stuff, if you want to use nav mesh. At least I don't think it is. Right, I think that's using a character controller or a rigid body to move the guy around.
Okay, let's just see what that does.
Well, I don't think does that read input by default?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Let's just see real quick what it does. Probably not. No, it's not reading input. Let's see here. So, what made him read input? I can't remember. What folder is this in? Third person character. Texture, prefab scripts, AI, third person user controls. All right, so let's just do this. Third person user control. Yeah, there you go. Well, he knows to look around. He's kind of stuck though. Probably because we have this nav mesh turned on, maybe.
Is his agent on? Yeah, definitely turn his Nav Mesh Agent off if he's got it on. But it could also be the colliders. I don't know if he's got colliders on there or something.
Yeah, okay. So, because he might be too far into the ground or something, right?
It's been too long since I've looked at that script. I don't know.
Yeah. I was just hoping for a quick win here, but I don't know if we're going to get it. He does want to go in that direction, though. Let's see here. Oh, no, jumping. Oh, God. I got my environment selected here. So, yeah, okay. This is going to be a lot more work than I had thought it would be.
Well, yeah, I think a simple new script that just sets that agent destination is probably going to be the easiest for you. That's like a 3-line script.
Oh yeah, and I guess I have 2 third-person character controllers on here, so I'm going to remove one of them.
That would probably be a bigger problem than...
Because I guess, yeah, so there's the third-person user controls as well. Let's see. Yeah, what's stopping him from walking around? It's really bizarre. Okay, so we got the escort movement. Yeah, the AI character control... demon escort controller. Nope. Stops moving. Remaining target. Health time freeze. Footsteps. Audio source. Escort path. Play. Random sound on hit. Yeah, okay, let's just take a look at what this does real fast, and then we can see fixed update. So horizontal, vertical gives it the move delta, and then that M character is the third person character. It's just giving it the move and telling it to move. So what is M agent doing here?
Oh, this is also using the cross-platform input manager. Okay, interesting. This bringing in more stuff than I remembered.
Yeah, it's a relatively newer version of it. Okay, so that's fascinating. I don't understand why. Okay, so our move just tells us the original forward move, Z, move magnitude.
Oh, maybe it doesn't actually move, and it just sets the. Is it using root motion for movement? It's probably using the animation to handle movement, and it's. Or does it actually push the rigid body?
Turn amount, apply extra turn rotation, grounded movement. So this is handle grounded movement.
Okay, yeah. What does handle grounded movement look like?
Not crouching. It's just setting the velocity on the rigid body. Oh yeah, apply a root motion is false.
Okay, so it is pushing with the rigid body.
But yeah, so all these scripts were originally.
Oh wait, no, that's if you're jumping.
Oh, I see.
Right. So if you're jumping, it switches out of root motion mode into a free moving rigid body version. But when you're on the ground, it's using root motion to control the movement. So that's why he's not moving.
Okay, so I'm going to turn off the AI character control.
For that, you have to actually have your character set up to use animation to move, which you might be able to just turn on for a second and see what it looks like on here. But you'd have to go through and set up your character controller to match and stuff to make it actually be similar to the demo.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just curious. Okay, so yeah, so probably the easiest thing to do is to give and just do a WASDA controls the target, and then he follows the target. I think the
easiest thing to do is just add in another script that WASDA controls the Nav Mesh Agent's destination. Just reads your input, turns that into a vector, and then takes your current position, adds that vector, and sets that as the destination every frame. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But check this out real quick. Let's just see. So he should run to this. Oh, if I can.
But the problem with setting like a target object is that then you're moving that target object, and your guy's following around another object, and you're not managing moving a guy. You're moving a thing that he's chasing.
Yeah, exactly.
And you won't have snappy, tight controls over it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So I had that third person character controller, and then the AI character controller, which was just controlling that same third person, which we didn't end up using. Oh, apparently it still gave me remove that component. And then we wanted the third person user controls, and so get the camera, the transform of the camera. Oh, hopefully it's not messing with the camera. Ugh. Not camera equals null. Yeah, okay. It's assuming that it's grabbing the camera off of it too.
Yeah, using the main camera tag.
Yeah. Calculate the move direction to pass to the character. Move camera forward and move. But really we don't need any of the camera stuff really, but we just need so use the world relative direction case to no camera. Okay, so you just do that. It should pass through without attaching to the camera.
But this third person user control thing's still not going to move your dude. You don't have root motion set up on your character, do you?
Oh, okay. Let's take a look at that.
Because the way that this is moving is by setting animator parameters to control it. And you're going to need matching animator parameters.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
and
have
row
all those.
motion setup.
I do have all those animator parameters because I'm just using that same script.
Oh, okay. You have all the same parameters on your character?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those are all wired up. But that's interesting. So he wants to walk in. Yeah, I just don't know why he's not moving.
Is the apply root motion box checked on his animator?
Yeah, let's check that.
Just select his animator child.
And
I guess it's not a child, it's at the base level, huh? Right below explode on point, or explode at point.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm looking at it right now. I don't see.
Oh, it's handled by script. Oh, because you have a script that's calling. You have a script that's handling it. One of those character controller ones, probably the third person character one, is dealing with it.
Yeah,
because it's turning on.
So these scripts are already, so it's calculating the move, right?
But what if you open up his animator controller? Are the values getting set in there? So if you, while you're playing and you try to move around, you should be able to see the parameters changing in there if it's actually working.
Yeah, I'll
restart
it,
you know. Yeah, your animator parameter value should go up, and you see if it's working or not. It could just be mapping of them or something with those animations.
Let's see here. So I got all this stuff here, and then parameters.
That's the other thing. It could be just that your animations don't have the root motion.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, all
your forward doesn't seem to be changing, is it? Just your turn?
No, yeah, it's. Oh yeah, maybe if
I see your turn value change, but I didn't. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see your forward going anything but 0.
It's always setting it back to 0. It looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, turn values.
What if you just set the value to 1 in the animator? Does he start walking?
No, it just sets it back to 0.
Oh, something's overriding it. Oh, okay, yeah. You try turning off that component, set it to 1, just make sure that he walks forward. Then you'll know when you fix it if he's gonna walk.
Yeah,
I assume he will.
Makes sense. I'll try that. Hang on, I need to restart it.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's just something in there not setting that forward parameter right. Maybe it's reading it wrong, or it's reading a 0 in there from whatever the input is.
Yeah, so it's just sitting on walk right now. Okay, so I got the escort. If I set the input to 1, doesn't do anything. Oh, the nav mesh is probably turning it off. That's for sure. Nope. AI character controller. Third party. Nope. Oh, everything just keeps setting it to 0. Let's see. Demon imp controller. Nope. Stops moving.
Well, you have a third person something at the bottom. I don't know what that one is.
That's the oops. Turn that off. The third person user controller script is the one that does the horizontal. Oh yeah. So now his animation's playing. Okay. Pretty much moving forward. So let's see here. Yeah, and it's just playing his like move animation.
But it's not actually moving him.
Well, but every time I turn on the third person user controller, it kind of
it stops him.
Stops him. Yeah. So I'm gonna just do my horizontal vertical probably. Print H.
Cool. And somebody was asking what you were trying to achieve in chat. You gonna tell them?
Yeah. So we're experimenting with making the imp kind of move around on his own. And you know, rather than putting the whole game on rails, which it's been like this for the entirety of the time that I've been working on it. And so yeah,
You're just making him free flowing, right? So he's just WASD controlled, and you swing the sword around.
Yeah, exactly.
So just trying to see what it feels like to totally change the way the gameplay is right before you release it, right?
Yeah.
But it's a fun thing to do. I think to go try out different
Just
mechanics and stuff along the way.
Yeah. So
Even if you don't end up with it, you might find some other things that you like.
The inputs are coming in correctly.
Okay.
And so let's see, vertical is going to come in, and then it's just going to multiply it by a vector forward. That gives you the move. That passes it to the character controller. And so that move then, origin forward move, convert the world relative input. Vector, normalize it, transform direction, project on the plane for the ground. So forward amount. So let's just see here. So we're just gonna print some stuff. Probably.
So is he just not moving now?
Yeah, it's well. What's happening is the forward value is being set to 0 all the time.
Oh, okay. It's still getting set to 0. I thought he'd fix that for some reason.
But he does play the animation. If I set it to 1, if I turn off the controller and set it to 1, then his movement. But it's just constantly being
something is
set.
Set. What sets the animator parameters in here? Just find the spot that sets it and see why that's happening.
Yeah, here. Let me see here.
There's got to be a set float. Just look for set float in this file, I assume.
Yeah, set float right here. Forward agent velocity. Oh, because it's getting it off of the agent.
Is it using the Nav Mesh Agent velocity, which is now at 0? Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
But why wasn't? I mean, shouldn't that actually set the Nav Mesh Agent velocity here?
No, you're taking the second thing's the parameter. You're reading the velocity and setting that as float, or you're trying to match it to the velocity, which also means that your animations are, I'm almost positive, not applying some root motion, but that could just be that the box will inject in the animator.
Well, okay, so M agent. So, but the whole like forward back, like this move call here should have been properly.
Well, it could be that it was getting set, but then your Nav Mesh Agent code was resetting it, right? Oh wait, what's M agent? Is M agent the Nav Mesh Agent?
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Weird.
And so this move call, because they you know, in the demo code, which I just kind of stole all this code and I've been using this whole time.
Oh, is this the one that's following an object with an Nav Mesh?
No, well, it should just be. It's just the third-person character controller, so it should have.
Oh, it looks like you changed that code. The Nav Mesh part, there's some commented out stuff right after it on the end of the line. Did you switch that over to read from the Nav Mesh Agent partway through when you were working on it?
Yeah, I bet you're right. All right, so let's go ahead and that will probably do it.
Yeah, because that looks like regular code for that. Hey.
Just try it out and see what happens. If it actually lets me play it.
Play your game.
Yeah, the share screen stuff. Oh well. All right. Let's see here. Oh. That's just getting him to turn still.
Is he still not moving?
He is playing his walk animation as I hold it forward.
Okay, and so his forward value is staying up, but he's not moving, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Appears
And his animator, I assume you can't control the root motion field. But what if you go to debug mode? Can you see if apply root motion is on?
Root motion is the oh yeah, okay. So
like if you're in debug mode on the animator component itself, you should see. I think
apply root motion is turned off. But something must be setting it to false, right?
It's one of your scripts, I think. It's controlling it.
Okay. I mean, it should be.
It's probably that third-person character controller thing, thinking that you're jumping constantly or some shit. Yeah, like it thinks that you're in the air or not falling because the ground's not tagged with whatever the demo scene was tagged with or something.
Ground check distance. Name is grounded.
Yeah, what does it do to check for ground though? Is there a filter? No? It just does a raycast down.
Is it on a specific layer? On ground is grounded. M is grounded. So
yeah, I guess is grounded. You could just check that value in debug mode too. Is that set to false, or is it true right now? If it's false, then it would be the right spot. If not, then
let's see. So third-person character controller is grounded is false.
Okay. Yeah, that grounding check is failing, preventing you from moving because it thinks that you're falling.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the downside to using existing stuff.
I know.
End up with so many dependencies. But hey, not too bad to figure out. Just got to figure out the grounding thing next.
Yeah, so it sets it to true. On the check grounding status, it sets it to true if the there's a raycast that happens.
Right.
And then if that raycast actually comes back properly, then it gives you...
So it uses the position. What's the ground check distance? And what's the pivot of your character? That's probably the problem. Is the ground check distance like less than a meter?
Yeah, it is. It's like 0.1.
And is the pivot of your character
the other one is jumping.
Oh, sorry, I broke my stream sound for a second.
Oh. All right, so I have a bunch of errors related to 3 audio listeners in the scene. Oh, geez. Okay, hang on. I gotta fix one thing. Where is it? Managers, HUD, canvas, portrait cameras. All right, so I need to just open this guy up, go to the portrait cameras, and then remove.
Oh, all those cameras have audio listeners on them.
Maybe it's like an afternoon thing. Speed test, run speed test. Download is fine. Oh yeah, so it's saying check ground status right now is the one that is.
That's the one setting it to false.
Yeah.
Okay, so the raycast is failing. Doesn't it do a debug draw ray too? I think it's drawing one in the scene view, right? So you should be able to see the ray or the line that it's drawing down from the guy and see if it's hitting. If you go around in the scene view, am I right on that?
Yeah, it does. It shows up. It does say that in the code. So
it should be drawing a line from where it's going, and you should see if that's going through a collider or not. Or if it's doing something else weird, going in a weird direction or a strange position, like up at the head or something weird.
Yeah, I don't see it anywhere.
You don't see the line anywhere?
No. Unless I'm crazy.
Oh wow, you're way off the ground too, though.
Yeah, that was a relatively. That was just because I was messing with him. He's on the ground.
What if you crank up that ground check distance? Do you see the line then? Does it become like a nice big long line?
Oh yeah.
Make it like a couple meters long. Should just become like on that easier to find at least.
Ground check distance. Okay, let's do 2. Is that? Oh, it's a serialized field. Great.
Oh yeah, I would have assumed it was a serialized field. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed this, but with or I guess you haven't used Writer in a while, but with Writer now, when you hit Shift F12 to get your references, it'll even bring you to the prefab references and the scene instance ones.
Oh really?
You can double click on them and it'll pop up over to Unity. It'll show you like the values. So like you hit Shift F12 on one of them on a parameter there, and it'll show you like the prefab names with the values that are set, like the serialized values for them, which is really nice.
Wow.
It's in Writer, and then you can just double click on them to open them up and stuff. So
yeah, I need to do that.
It's pretty neat.
Okay, so where would this line be? Okay, so oh, it's probably not changed yet. Hang on, let me collapse this. Go back to the escort here, and let's say, let me go out of debug mode, normal, third-party character control, and ground check distance to, oh yeah, there we go. yeah.
Does it show up now?
Yeah, it's really bizarre. It does show up. And then go back into debug mode. Debug, and we'll go back.
Wait, was it 0.01?
It was 0.01.
That's obscenely small, dude. That's tiny.
Let's see.
Maybe make it like 0.1.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Here we go. Oh,
like, give yourself a little bit of wiggle room to have the character not be perfect.
He is definitely not moving around right now. But his forward amount is changing properly.
And he's grounded?
And he's grounded. Yep. And actually, in fact, I'm only getting my move items now, so it's just he's not moving around. Oh, wait, here. Nav Mesh. Nope.
All right, and the animator controllers is the apply or the nav mesh or root motion apply. Is that on there? Which I think you'd only see in debug mode, right? Yeah, it is. Apply root motion is there.
So Z movement is good. Root motion is good. And gravity, jump power. Can you jump? No. Is grounded. Escort is crouching. Original move forward. Yeah, so all the movement stuff appears to be going.
But now it's just not applying the root motion. Or does he not even play the walk animation?
No, he's playing the walk animation for sure.
Okay, it just doesn't actually apply any motion.
Yeah, this is
that may just be the animation settings too. You got to go to the animations and make sure that they can apply root motion.
Idle walk.
Or that they have it in there. You may have to get different animations. This is definitely the hardest way to do it, Chris.
That's what I'm saying. Just make him chase around something. All right, let's see.
Yeah, that's definitely easier than this.
Run. Okay, so how do I tell if the root motion can be applied to the animation?
Get out of debug mode.
Oh yeah.
The problem is you're in debug mode and you want to. Oh wait, you don't have the. How did you pull these animations in?
I pulled them off of the original character.
Oh, they're not Mixamo ones, huh?
They're not.
They probably don't have any motion in them then.
Okay.
I'd be surprised if they had motion in them. So the root motion stuff's not going to work at all with them, is my guess.
Okay.
Unless you get different animations.
So, what should I do?
Revert.
Revert.
All right. I gotta just revert and just just try to make that dude follow on the nav mesh.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to swap out the animations next.
Swap out the animations next.
Yeah, which seems like a lot of you're just gonna get further down the breaking things for your normal mode.
All right, so we're back to what we were before. Oh yeah, goodness.
Yeah, animation stuff and root motion stuff can be a pain.
Yeah, let's see. Let's just see if there's anything. Yeah, can I use Nav Mesh Agent with keyboard inputs?
Yeah, so just make a new script. Here, I can run you through it real quick.
Yeah, okay.
Just make a new script on there, and then in the update, read the horizontal and vertical axis.
Okay, so we're gonna do we'll do escort keyboard movement maybe.
Yeah. I think this is like a 3-liner.
Yeah, nice.
If we can, it might be a little bit more, but I think the basics of it should be pretty simple.
All right, so we want to grab that Nav Mesh Agent though, right?
Yeah, so you want to have a reference to the Nav Mesh Agent. Cache that in Awake or wherever you want to do it, the serialized field or start. I'm a little delayed watching it, but I know what you're doing.
Yeah, maybe we could do like a Google Hangout, and then I can share my screen there. Okay.
Yeah, so you cast your Nav Mesh Agent.
Yeah.
And then in Update, you'll just want to read the horizontal and vertical axes, which I assume you haven't changed from the defaults, but I don't know.
No, yeah, I haven't. Was it input get
axis?
Get axis,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And then pass in the name. Then just return back the float. So that'll give you the horizontal and vertical, and then you just turn those into a vector 3. So just do a new vector 3 with your horizontal on the X and your vertical on the Z, probably, unless you rotated your world when you built it. And then you could say nav mesh agent dot set destination transform dot position plus that vector.
Sorry, set what?
So you do nav mesh agent dot set destination, and then you give it transform dot position, so your current position plus that move vector that you just made. And I think you just misnamed your C parameter there.
Oh.
You named it V and you switched it between the two.
There you go. Alrighty. Try it out.
And that should the other thing, you got to disable your other thing that was set in the nav mesh agent though. Yeah. Well, actually, you probably don't really, because this is just going to override it every frame anyway. So it doesn't really matter what the other thing's doing. It's just going to kind of ignore it. It'll set it once, and then the next frame it's going to get overwritten to its current position until you hit the keyboard.
All right, so we got escort keyboard movement.
And the only thing you might have to adjust is like the steering speed if you want it to be like snappy, turning instantly instead of slowly turning towards the direction.
Mm-hmm.
Just make it so he can steer really fast, so just instant turns. Or you can make it so that he just turns in the direction.
All right. Well, I think actually, did I leave on his? Oh, yeah, escort movement's turned off. AI character controller is turned off. Okay, so. Oh yeah. All right, hang on. Let's see here. Oh, he's kind of walking backwards, but it's better than what.
Is he moving?
Yeah. He's moving around.
Are the axes just mixed up?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. VH. Yeah, so vertical would control the Z-axis, though. Shouldn't vertical control the Z-axis?
What I usually do is just look at them in the scene view to see which way he's set up, and then move them along the axes, and just figure out which key it is for each one. Watch the Z and the X go up and down, because it depends on how you've which direction your scene is set up and your camera's set up at.
Oh, interesting.
Right, because if you built your scene completely inverted direction, that's going to be the opposite, because you're not doing anything to take that into account right now.
Oh, you know what it is? I think it's just backwards. Let's see here.
Oh, just switch them. Just do negative.
Okay, so. Oh yeah. Okay, so that needs to be negative, and that needs to be okay. They both need to be negative. Is what it is.
Okay, then you just subtract the vector instead of adding it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can do that too. Yes, just peculiar. And then I guess the real main thing is that the waypoints are not going to be triggered anymore properly. So the only thing to like really make the game work again is to have the waypoints maybe triggered by a box collider or something.
What triggers them right now?
Arriving at the waypoint.
Is it like that script is just watching for your distance to the waypoint or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's just colliders or something would make sense. You walk into it and then it it's a trigger and it just fires it off.
Okay, left and right appear to work okay, but he still goes. What did I do? I don't know. All right. And he's still. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so is it relative to the camera? Horizontal to the camera?
It's relative to the world right now. You're not doing anything relative to the camera. So as your camera changes, the inputs are going to feel weird.
Yeah, because what I need is I want it to be, I want him to be walking toward the camera.
But you probably don't want the camera changing in this mode, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Because I mean, you don't want it changing so that like you're running right and suddenly the camera changes and right means forward.
Okay,
It would feel, I mean, you might, but it seems like it would feel really weird.
Let's see, camera hyphen standard. Okay, so I'm gonna turn that off for now.
Don't you have a level that just has the camera, doesn't have different cameras? You can just do it on
the other levels for sure.
Okay. You just try it on a level that doesn't have camera swaps, and then if you change anything,
it might be easier.
It'd be like your level 2 movement system, right?
Yeah.
You could do a different movement system on a different level or something if you wanted.
Escort keyboard movement. Turn off the AI controller. We'll just check out what that looks like. We might have to clean up something here. I don't know. Oh yeah. Turn off his waypoint movement. Where is it? Escort.
I'm gonna make a thumbnail.
A thumbnail? In the world. Oh, I think his collider. My rigid body. I also was kinematic. No, that's not doing it either. Oh, AI character controller. There we go. What in the world? Okay, so my left and right. Okay, so this is all wonky now. Alright. H. V. And I think we're going back to plus. And then I'm going to go back in here. And we should have done this on the snow level.
Oh.
Because
what's the difference?
There's a bunch of enemies constantly spawning on there, and so it's a lot easier to like, you know, you can still have you can still fight while you're doing that. But let me
that makes sense. Just lots of stuff going on without having to get to the waypoints.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you don't have to go in and change waypoints to see what, because I mean, really, this is all just about seeing what this feels like to WASD move around and swing the thing instead of having the rails.
Yeah, I wonder why he's not turning though in this particular case.
Is he not turning at all?
Yeah, now he's not turning at all. He's just kind of like hanging out there.
He just moves towards. What's his turning speed at?
That's a good question. Nav angular speed's like 10. Yeah, I think it shouldn't be a problem. And he was turning on the other one, wasn't he? Let's see here. So yeah, I can't go that way. Yeah, so this wouldn't break too much, I don't think. Here, alright, I'm gonna go and mess up another level. Let's go to level 10. Steering movement and rotation with several transform. Following higher character move transform translate look at. What's on chat? Okay, so I'm gonna turn off. Escort movement's gonna turn off. We're gonna set the rigid body to be kinematic or not kinematic. And we're going to add on the keyboard movement. And I think that was it.
I'm just surprised that you haven't experimented with this before.
I know, me too. Like I was just like, oh, I'll do Rails, but I don't know. I don't know exactly why I didn't do that, but yeah, I definitely should.
No, it's just interesting. It's a fun little experiment. I don't think it's gonna make a drastic change or anything, but I think it's fun to try.
I think I get a lot of people liking this idea of I don't know, like maybe the game is. I don't know how I feel about the linearness of the game. Maybe I don't know.
About the what?
Linearity, linear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like this would give you a whole new dimension to explore. I don't know if I can even run off the map.
Well, you'll only be able to run to where it's navigatable right now.
Yeah. Well, that's. I'm wondering if. Oh yeah, it's kind of like bouncing me off the wall actually. Kind of interesting, but yeah, I mean, so this would make the game last a lot longer, right? Because people would explore trying to find a way through, much more like Diablo.
Oh yeah, you have areas where you have to go and back and forth and exploration stuff. I mean, you definitely expand on it a lot, but it's most just about like which way is most fun. It'd also be interesting to switch between the two modes.
Yeah, that's true.
I think just like you get in linear mode and then like, okay, I don't know what happens, but somehow you get free and you can control yourself and then get taken back over or something. Or
yeah.
But I mean, I also really like free adventure and roaming around and exploring stuff games, so like I get that too.
yeah. I mean, so for me, like I don't know. But anyway, I think it's pretty cool. Like it's sort of working right now, and I'm able to kind of like fight my way along. And I found the exit already, but I can't actually exit because it's a waypoint.
Oh yeah, you just got to fix the direction, the facing real quick, and then you can ship it.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if I should do that. I don't know.
You just do a transform.look at and look at that position to make him turn and face the direction real quick. But
all right, let's see. So this is going to be target position.
Well, it'd be your transform your position plus the offset, right? Is where you'd want to look.
Yeah,
and it's only going to give you 8 directional, or 8. You're not going to be able to do in between, obviously, but well, at least not with keyboard. If you had a controller, you could. Yeah. But you will get the rotation though, because in Unity with the keyboard, it'll smooth out those horizontal and vertical values. So it's not going to go instantly 0 to 1. It does like smooth up from 0 to 1. So you'll get like a turning. It won't just be like an instant snap, but
yeah. Whew. Yeah.
Somebody was asking if you use any well-known design patterns in your game.
None at all. No.
No design patterns, right? That's the design patterns.
No.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, as we saw
the spaghetti pattern. No, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you do, but I was curious. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, let's see. Observer pattern is like the easiest one. I think we talked about that a lot yesterday, which is just the fact that we have all these event handlers out there, right? And so it's probably the most well-known design pattern, and we have like 3 different formats of that now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then let's see. I have, also I guess like people, this might not be noticeable to some people, but the components in Unity on any game object are following the component pattern, right? But people break the component pattern because they make their scripts too long. And so one thing that I think to pay attention to is that I think you can see in my open editor right now, I have like 100 scripts on this guy, probably 30 or something scripts on this guy, and that's because there's a lot of these little behaviors that add up to something big, and none of these scripts are really more than 100 lines long or whatever, right? And so
19, 20 of them.
yeah,
I
exactly.
was counting up how many were actually your scripts on there. 20 of them. Yep.
20 of them are my scripts, and then I have a bunch of other stuff on there. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole point behind the component pattern, right? Is that you say, oh, I want a little of this, a sprinkle of that. So component, observer, and then stuff that I've written. I keep it really small, but there's definitely I'm using observer to enable command, and I'm trying to think of others off the top of my head right now, but I'm not terribly sure, and I'm fighting off all these guys. I'm constantly freezing to death here too. I need to figure that out. Yeah, I feel like
do you have singletons in here too?
Yeah, but I've kind of gone away from them and used the Unity editor sort of as a dependency injector, but I have fewer singletons. Actually, I don't think I have any singletons that I'm maintaining in here. I think the Steam library to manage achievements and stuff is a singleton though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some stuff should be probably a singleton, but the way I have it set up right now, they're all kind of their own objects, and things get destroyed between scenes and stuff. And so I'm using prefabs more so in that sense.
Just spawning them up and then linking them all in the editor and stuff.
Yeah. So in my last game, I used a lot of singletons, and then kind of as an experiment, I did it without singletons to see how I would link things up, and so it is more difficult. For sure. But then it also...
Yeah, some things can definitely get harder.
Yeah.
But also avoid some problems sometimes. So.
Yeah.
Trade-off.
And so you can see how like my swing radius is jaggy. I think the editor is actually kind of at that point where it's feeling a little bit too kludgy now or something. I think my editor overhead has grown over time. I don't know if that's like a memory leak in Unity or something, but that's been kind of weird.
Interesting. To profile the editor, and you're still on a new version. There's actually an update for Unity today. Oh, I grabbed it earlier this morning.
I will probably do the same. Sometime. Maybe I'll actually. I'm gonna probably wait until after the festival's over, but then
it's probably a good idea. I would generally recommend don't update right in the middle of something. Yeah. Or right before you have to do anything important. Right? Make sure you got time.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know what random thing is going to break only in your game. Had the weirdest stuff break, man. Yeah. So you liking the free roam mode?
It's been kind of fun exploring. I think I need like more interesting points, but it's a little harder to concentrate on like fighting off the enemies and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, I
think you would need to put in like a puzzle or something else that you have to do while you're fighting them that requires you to move around. Could be like, how you have your click puzzles? Maybe if you had moving puzzles where you have to move to the different spots instead of click on them while you're fighting or something.
Yeah,
so you've got like an objective.
Yeah, open up the gate to leave or something, right?
Yeah, some objective for the moving other than just dodge. Right now, I assume it's mostly just dodge.
Yeah, dodge.
It's the only real thing is like get away from the bad guys while you smack them.
Yeah.
And they chase you.
But I mean, on level 2, for example, what happened on level 2 was you like go looking for a key, and then you find the key to open the final room. And so, I think something that could be really easy to do there is make it so that key, if you walk into the key room before finding the door, you'd be like, oh, I found a key, but what is it for? And then if you walk into the door room without finding the key, then you'd be like, oh, well, there must be a key to this. It is currently locked, right?
Yeah.
And that could be really good. I think that'd be really awesome. So this works pretty good. I don't know. I feel like if I made those waypoints work, then it'd be kind of an interesting thing to ship it.
Oh yeah, I think it's worth playing with. And like I said, the only real difference you need on this one is you're going to want to make sure that you check for different heights, assuming that you have nav meshes that go up and down. And just, if you don't have a point on the nav mesh, just do a ray cast around there, or get the nearest point on the nav mesh to the position that you selected or something. Yeah. But even that, not something I would worry about until you run into the problem of it not actually walking up a hill.
So like another option would be to actually do like a kind of a point and click, more like StarCraft, like.
Oh yeah.
Click on, so you're swinging your weapon around and you click to tell him where to move, and so you're still like kind of like focused entirely on clicking around to like tell him where to go. That'd be kind of interesting too.
That would be.
And I was thinking about supporting controllers, right? So Steam really wants you to support controllers like for everything now. They kind of constantly nag you to add controller support.
Right.
And so I was thinking about like having it so that, maybe you have to left click to like get a free spin on your thing. So like maybe when you're using a controller, rather than having to like spin the stick around all the time to like get the swing going, you have like a button to like accelerate the blade or something.
Just like tapping X or something over and over. Exactly. Like you're hitting X with the controller and then moving around. Like bam. And then you could make another button do like if you did it that way, you could have it so you're hitting the button to charge it up, and then have things that pop up that you have to respond and hit the other buttons to get speed boosts or whatever other kind of thing, so that you're not just constantly hitting it, but you're hitting it and then bam,
swapping
something else to mix it up.
Different controller,
like a supercharged button that pops up and you can hit it and it speeds up, or whatever the thing is now.
Yeah. So but it's pretty interesting. I don't know. Yeah. So now this is like a large departure from the original way we were controlling the game. So I wonder if I should ship that as the demo and just see if people react to it.
It's slightly different. You may just make 2 levels, let people play them both.
Yeah, that's true.
Just duplicate the level with the other version. Or just send it out and see if a lot more people start playing it suddenly and your playtime goes up.
Yeah.
See if you get 2 Mac users, right?
Yeah, 2 Mac. Second Mac user would mean that it was really successful. I just laughed so hard when I looked at the stats and there was only 1 Mac user, and I was like, yeah. That's the person. There it is.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that was me.
Yeah. and actually, no, that's probably just my test account anyway.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
that's too funny.
Hey, eventually somebody else will play a game on a Mac and be excited.
Yeah.
I think the problem is anybody with a Mac can just switch over to Windows and play anyway, so they don't play their games in Mac mode.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, unless they have an M1, and now they're back in that same problem. I guess they can run a Windows emulator, but it still wouldn't be fun. Okay, so this was pretty fun experiment. What should I do about it?
You can ask everyone in chat.
Yeah, everybody in chat. Do you like the free roam mode or the linear point-to-point mode more?
Yeah, the linear mode just takes you through the whole level and goes through the story, and you attack stuff, and then the free, I guess you'll just have to add in some things to go explore. Maybe that'd be a thing to do. Just put in a little thing to like some sort of a little mission for a level.
Yeah.
And ship that out. Because I think if you just shipped it out with your free roam mode exactly how it is, it wouldn't make sense because there's no objective. But if you put in a small objective or something, that'd be interesting.
Well, there's chests also, and so like maybe rather than clicking on the chests, you have to like walk up and hit spacebar or something.
Or just walk up and touch them even.
Yeah.
Like, get into them. Just keep track of you'd want to have something on the screen that tells them that they need to go get chests, right? Yeah. Or how many they've gotten or whatever. But yeah.
Right now on the bottom left is the little chalice, and the chalice, I think I need to turn it into a coin or something like that. But they're basically 7 coins to collect on every level, and you get a coin on each level or on from each chest. But right now you just have to left click them.
Okay.
And so yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'll probably ask call or something like that, just to get the normal group of feedback people to tell me whether or not they like the free roam mode or not.
That makes sense. My chat, by the way, is saying that they like the free roam mode.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's 100% for free roaming mode right now.
Oh man, that's rough. Okay, let's all right, let's take a look at what that would do, because I could put that into the demo and ship that in a couple hours probably, but I would just need to fix oh geez, the cameras.
What would you need to do with cameras?
The movement on the camera. So a couple things would need to happen. So actually, let me. I'm gonna update Trello here. Okay, so free roam mode. Free roam mode. And then.
What level would you do it on?
Just that very first level. Because that's my demo level anyway, and so what I would do is so basically on that level I would need to disable movement during dialogues. I would have to open chests by walking up to them. That gives you a reason to explore and walk around. Enable overhead camera and turn off clear shot, maybe. Although, you know, Resident Evil, right? Resident Evil had the clear shot camera. And like maybe Resident Evil 2 or something like that, where, you know, but it always felt like kind of awkward whenever you were like turned a corner and then you were like kind of walking in a different direction. So okay, so
yeah, well, you could also, I mean, if you wanted to go with those cameras, you just have to make sure that they're all oriented the same way to keep it from swapping, or update everything so that it handles it being changed and switches instantly.
Yeah, and then there's another piece of it, which is I can't let the player progress any further until he's killed all the enemies.
Right, so you just need like a blocker there. You could just use Nav Mesh Obstacle there to block the wall.
Yeah. But I mean, I have doors, but right now they just open all the time for you. So doors should remain shut to prevent character from moving past door. But this was one of my multiplayer ideas too, right? Was to like make it so that one player controls the imp and the other one controls the sword. But I also feel like you could still do that even, but I don't know. The game is the complexity of the game is exploding in my head right now.
Yeah, you don't want to go overboard, right? Like, I think it's just fun ideas to run with and see, but
yeah. Okay, so I have this escort camera.
There was another recommendation in the chat to make enemies drop keys that are required to progress the open doors and stuff.
Oh, that's so good. All right, enemy last enemy to die. Drops key to open door or progress. I could also like put a dome of fire around.
Yeah, you could put fire walls up. Yeah, block the way.
Enemy from going through.
Using particle effects.
Yeah. Basically, I have that circle of fire, so it could be like dialogue pops up, circle of fire ignites around you, and then you can't move outside the circle until it's kind of done. Something.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. You could just yeah.
Okay, so what I got right now is I need to disable the movement during the dialogue. I need to open the chests by walking up to them. Enable the overhead camera. Oh, and then waypoints. Waypoints should activate on enter. Okay, I like it. We can do this. and we'll see. Maybe I should have them put it back to open world again on the Steam. Okay, so let's see. I guess the first bit is fixing the cameras so that we can try and walk through the same way. So I'm going to disable this. Let's do a dash hold here. This is my clear shot camera setup. And then this is going to be camera dash standard. And then we're going to enable that. And so, and then we're going to go into our manager, or our dialog manager, I think, who wants to know about that camera. And instead of camera standard hold, we're just going to do camera standard instead. And actually, I'm going to change that to clear shot, so I don't find it, or I do find it, or whatever. Okay, so we'll try that and just see if that all seems to work out. So go through that initial dialogue there, and only thing is that it's backwards. Why is it backwards? Oh, because the camera's not oriented in the same direction that the imp is. Okay, so camera standard. Okay, 0, 0 on the rotation, or why is the camera numbers? Why is the camera's rotation not updating?
What do you mean? Which camera?
Oh, is it attached to the imp? No, it should just be following him around, right? Oh, I don't think it's following him, is it?
It's well, expand out the body part and the aim, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think
you probably just don't want it aiming at stuff, is my guess. If you don't want it rotating.
Oh, the look at maybe?
Or the aim part, just set it to none. So that it just follows instead of aiming. Instead of turning.
Oh, do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that. Okay, so down is up is down, left is right, right is left. Again, and just on this level. So
just got to flip your keyboard around. That's the problem.
Yeah,
keyboard
exactly. Yeah, so I'm like walking through stuff now, and the doors open automatically still, which is kind of cool. I can still destroy stuff. Yeah, nothing is preventing me from going forward. So, and then, oh, it just has now, my camera has lost me. Why is that? That is bizarre.
Your camera lost you?
Yeah, well, you'll see it on the stream real soon, but he just like walks off.
Oh. What is the the camera's like, what is it following?
I don't know. It just like departed. I think, I'm not quite sure what that was.
I mean, for this camera, you just need something simple, right? Just to follow that guy around.
Yeah, exactly. I just need to not have the rotation happen.
Yeah, I think you can take out the look at too and just set that to none. And then it'll just keep that rotation completely the way it is.
Okay. That's none. I think I need to rotate it or something. If I just moved it over here, would it still look at him properly?
Yeah, somebody else is saying you can use your flipped input as the puzzle for players.
Yeah.
You gotta flip the keyboard over to
yeah, exactly. Try and figure out how to do this, everybody. Oh, no, it is pointing totally the wrong direction now. I am super confused by this camera setup. Okay, so...
Yeah, I've lost track now too.
Okay, so I just want the camera... Let's see, so which way is X? So, let's see, forward and backward is going to be this way. And I might need to just invert it for this level, maybe. Okay. Hey, welcome back. Oh, you're not back yet. Just controller dot open. Hey.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I know people arrived and had to grab a snack.
Nice. So I'm making a script called chest open on trigger. So this would be the one that would just allow us to pick up the chest while walking by on it. This will give us a reason to like walk around and explore.
Nice. And when the chest opens up, you already have an animation on there, right? Like something that shows up to let them know.
It just opens up, it plays a sound like saying you found something, and then a coin flies up to your screen and then kind of goes to the bottom left to resemble going into like a pocket or something.
Right, so I'm going to switch my microphone real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Is that still okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't break everything when I switched over to
Yeah. No, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to be chewing on any food or snacks while I'm using my headset mic and have everybody listening to me making noise. This way I can just reach over, hit a button, or cover my face or something. I can back away at least.
Yeah.
Cool. So you got the trigger hooked up?
Yeah, so these chests should have colliders, and the colliders, but they're not triggered.
You can add a separate collider, just add like a
escort collider, a trigger. Yeah, so the on trigger enter. Maybe I can do it on collision instead.
No, you probably want to do an on trigger. Just add another collider with a trigger.
Okay, and then multiple. On trigger, the trigger needs to be on the game object that has the script, right?
Yeah, it just needs to be at the level where the script is, or where the rigid body is.
So this would be like box collider. Yeah, and it can be a little bit bigger than he is too. Let's see, where is he? Oh, it's like right on his head. Let's see here. So we're gonna just say like, geez. We're gonna get like.
Well, you want the box collider you don't want the trigger to be on the player.
Because the yeah, okay.
Yeah, you want the triggers to be on the things that you're entering.
Let's see here. Remove component. Okay, so let me see. So on trigger enter would just check for escort health then? Or escort?
Right, yeah, I would just check to see if it was an escort that entered it. And then if so, it would open itself. Or do whatever it does to open.
And then, let me just see, cache. Let's see, so this is chest, controller, chest controller equals get component, chest controller, and then
okay, there you go. Oh, do you even need to do that in start? You could just do that in your on trigger enter, do a get component chest controller dot open.
Yeah, I mean it does it. This will
and
just
caching things is nice, but it doesn't really give you any benefit if you're just caching it to use it once. And it's something that you're doing this rarely. So.
Okay.
I mean, you could do it. Yeah, there's no downside to caching it. It's just
Yeah, that makes sense. I usually just cache everything right away.
I have a habit of, I used to do that for every single thing, and then I realized like there were quite a few times when like it was just
totally unnecessary.
Where I never reused it, and I was like, okay, I get a little less likely to do. I still cache, I'd say like 75 to 80% of stuff, but some things, especially things that I'm only doing ever once, like on a destroyer when they die or something, a lot of times I'll just avoid those.
Okay, so in this chest we have what is it called now? Open chest on trigger.
Then you gotta check the as trigger box on your colliders.
Yeah.
Or add a sphere collider and make it as trigger or something.
Okay, so that one has it,
I
that
assume
one has
your
it,
box
this one
colliders are
doesn't.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, this one is already a trigger. Interesting. Open chest on trigger, run, come back. Trigger, trigger, large chest is already a trigger. Gotta go and add a component. Open chest on trigger. These should have been prefab variants, and I would have saved a lot of time just now. Open chest on trigger. Oh, it didn't. There we go. Okay, so each of these should have a trigger and an open chest on trigger script. All right, so now if I walk around, I should see this nice little open animation as I go for it.
All right, let's see it. I'm just watching back and forth in chat while I'm watching you. And eating milk duds.
Nice.
Milk duds.
Milk duds. Pretty cool. Coming through the door. So this is the perspective that I'm kind of stuck in now, though. But yeah. And so, yeah, that worked pretty good. Still walking through that barrel because none of the events are firing now.
Why don't you fix the barrel? Make it so that it's a nav mesh obstacle.
Yeah, so what was happening there before was I actually have the barrel disabled, but except for the visualization, because there's a tutorial on basically swinging the attack, you know, doing your attack. But so we need to enable all the events and everything like that to get that working again. Oh, the positioning of this chest is behind this wall. Can't see it. This looks pretty good. Walking over here. Yeah, come into the weapon room. Open this chest. Yeah, all the because of the perspective as or I need to rotate the entire map.
Well, the other thing you can do is just set up some code or an object to adjust that offset based off.
Yeah, do an offset if you're on this level, sort of thing.
Well, you can do like I've done it a couple different ways. So you can do it off of the camera's rotation or setting up just like a scene object that's like the world direction and using that as the rotation. So then I can just flip that one object around in each scene. It works pretty well. Anything like that just adjust the orientation. But I mean, using the camera works too. Then you just gotta set your camera up where you want it.
That makes sense. So I do like this. Like I'm actually like walking around opening all the chests.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, you just need to give yourself things that you need to blow up or need to break too, like breaking barrels to get stuff out.
Yeah. That's true.
So you can go find things and break.
There's a asset on the asset store that's like free breakable pottery. And so I was thinking about wiring all that up. I think that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, and I have alternate cameras, so I don't necessarily, you know, what I could do for the boss fight is, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have to change a whole bunch of stuff. I think I'm gonna check this in, and then, let's see. So I'm gonna revert level 10 and level 2. And then I'm going to keep everything else. And then just say, oops, yeah. Say open world experiment with. This is good, but this could
be a significant amount of work across the whole game.
But really, what I want the demo to be. Oh God. Oh, okay, that's fine. Let's see. Push that up. Okay, so we got the. Let's go back to the Kanban board. Okay, so open chests by walking up to them. You know what? I can walk through them still.
Through the chests? Oh,
Yeah.
You don't want to be able to walk through them?
Yeah.
No.
No.
While we fix that, there was a question in my chat I wanted to present to you.
go for it.
I kind of have thoughts on it, but I'm curious what you think. And I think because I think it applies to not just the game, but I think we can apply this to all software stuff. But it says that, do you think that there's an age limit to get into a game dev role as a junior developer with no programming experience or no formal programming experience, coding experience? I assume this is like a maximum age or a minimum. I mean, minimum, I would say 18, right? You just got to be old enough to be able to legally work, probably even younger than that.
Yeah.
But maximum, that's a question that I get a lot more often from guys who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s, and want to get into software stuff. Or been doing something somewhat related often, or just had an interest in it. I'm curious, what do you think? Like, have you?
So, yeah. So there's a book by Barbara Oakley, and let me look up the name of it. And she's like a professor in like learning and stuff like that. It's called Mind Shift, and it's a book that talks about like all these people like kind of changing careers, and there's a really interesting quote in there. That basically everybody has, if you consider every 5 to 7 years a lifetime of work experience, right? Because like a lot of people can make it to a senior level in 5 years. Then you could literally change careers every 5 years, and she suggests that like it can bring you some level of happiness because changing careers means that you're like learning a lot and things like that. So, what I like about the book is it talks about all these people kind of using online courses and things like that to change careers and do it often. And so just in general, I think that everybody has about 7 lifetimes worth of work experience in them before they're like going to retire. And I got this from this book. It's kind of a direct quote from it. And so if you take that into account, then I think like, yes, especially if you have 5 years left in your career, then you could go into medicine, you could go into like other things. And so a lot of people are self-taught. I work with a lot of people that were self-taught. They, some people didn't have a college degree, and some people do. But the overall factor is that the thing that plays out over and over again is that they're curious, they like to learn, and they, and programming became kind of like both a hobby and a job, like that sort of thing. So like, if you have those qualities, then I think it's probably a reasonable thing. I don't know. What do you think, Jason?
I think 100% agree, and I think it's interesting the way that you worded that or mentioned it from the book, I guess, on having all these different careers. Because like when I think back through all of the different stuff that I've done, I guess like I've probably gone through like 4 myself. Started off doing all kinds of just random, standard old teenager jobs and all that for quite a while, and doing web stuff and game dev stuff, and now I mostly do like YouTube and teaching stuff. I never would have thought I was do something like that years ago. Like each one of the steps has been, or things that I've switched to, has been something that I guess I didn't really know what I was going to do. So yeah, I think that I can't think that there's I don't know that there's an age limit. I've seen lots of people like jump into development much later on in their lives and be really successful. And the other thing I've seen is like a lot of people who did do career shifts in like their 30s and 40s and stuff not all of them, but a lot of them, like they were really serious about it, and they ramped up really, really fast. So it's not like they jumped in and it took them like 4 or 5 years to get going into stuff. Like they're usually doing really good right away because they're full on and they've learned from mistakes of the past, and they see what they want and they're just going for it and going hard, and they get at it really quick. Obviously, I think the hardest issue might just be confidence, right? Like you gotta, because you're going up against, you gotta all these other people who are maybe like half your age that have built, have had more time doing the same thing. So you're gonna feel weird. Like, I mean, I still feel weird when my kids kick my ass in video games, right? It happens all the time. Like every time I was like, this is not supposed to happen. I've been playing games since long before you were even born, and yeah. So it's but I just gotta remember that you're all, as long as you're working together, you're on the same team. So you just gotta help each other and get better. And I don't think there's a limit. But and I mean, you guys have you've seen lots of people hired, right? You guys have people coming in at all different ages, like coming in to find stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I saw that everywhere I've been. I've seen people of all different ages coming in at junior levels too. Yeah,
there were two people that had recently come from like a layoff, and it was a layoff at like a hardware electronics, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they both wanted to do like full-on career changes, and so even though they were later in their careers, they were happy to kind of get going and start at kind of a more junior level and work their way up. And but basically what I see typically is if people are really trying hard and constantly learning, like going from intro to senior is really kind of like a 5-year sort of journey. And so I highly recommend reading that book by Barbara Oakley, because she's really good about just like being motivating about the career change, and then talking about things like feeling uncomfortable with your age versus other people's and stuff like that. So it's Mind Shift is a fantastic book. And I read it because I was looking at some of her other stuff, and so I felt like I wasn't reading it specifically for a career change or anything like that, but I just happened upon the book, and it so well touches on this topic.
It's a big topic. I mean, I hear it all the time. I get this question at least once a week, so I think it's an important one. I'm gonna have to check that book out sometime.
Yeah, it's good. Her other books, like she does a lot of stuff on like learning how to learn better.
Okay.
And so, I read this book was a little bit different, but it still talks about some of the cognitive science that she works through. But just the fact that you can learn to learn faster is a really cool concept, and that's why I like her writings about it.
I'll have to check that out. I'll have to add it to my list of Audible stuff. Right now I'm on books on how to shoot better video.
Yeah.
How to make better YouTube videos and better video quality. The ones that I listen to now.
That feels like an infinite topic for sure.
Yeah, and it's interesting seeing how much I don't know. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. All right.
Oh, somebody else was asking about VS Code too.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
So they're saying that they see a lot of people using VS Code instead of standard Visual Studio, and I think they're just curious why. Like, what the reason is that you would do that? What do you get out of it? Is something special?
Yeah, absolutely. VS Code is batteries not included, and Visual Studio is batteries included. So like if you think about it that way, Visual Studio loads up a whole bunch of stuff that you don't necessarily need, or want, right? Like it's like, hey, it prompts you for stuff like Xamarin development, but it has tools in there for like things that have nothing to do with game development pretty often, where Visual Studio starts as like a bare bones or Visual Studio Code starts as a bare bones text editor, and you just add stuff to it over time, and so it fits your use case a little more, but But Writer does the batteries included a lot better. It's just much more. It's much smarter. So Writer like figures out what you're doing and then plugs into that ecosystem. Visual Studio is like, here's everything, and like it or not, you have it. And so I that's my viewpoint on the whole thing. It's pretty interesting that way, I think.
Why do you prefer Visual Studio Code though? You just like it not doing all the things for you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm using Visual Studio Code right now because I haven't sat down to buy a Writer subscription. So what's really cool, I even use the Writer keyboard shortcuts. So I'll pull up my my plugins section here. One plugin that I have in here is the JetBrains IDE key map. So all the keys are exactly the same as the Writer. And so, I'm just being lazy when I haven't downloaded Writer. I'd prefer to use Writer, and I think anybody who can afford it should. If you can't afford Writer, I would consider using Visual Studio Code, and I probably wouldn't use Visual Studio for anything at this point.
And I think if you're a student, they'll give you free codes and stuff. You can go get like free licenses for it. I go check out JetBrains is really good with helping people out on that stuff. And their tools. Yeah, I love Writer, man. I was using Visual Studio for tutorials for quite a while, but I've gone back to I'm only going to use it for like super beginner tutorials, like your first video game tutorials, and that's it. Because I just love the other editor.
And then there are some like government requirements. So if you're doing government contracting, I'm not sure you're allowed. Last time I was doing government contracting, I was not allowed to use JetBrains products. But you can use like things like Code Rush or something like that. But I think that's just because of the country that they're made in. So it's kind of a weird thing, but it exists. So that might be the only other reason why you might not do that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that post or the whole thing about Team City and them blaming JetBrains for companies getting hacked, and it sounded like it was somebody had set something up on their build automation server. It had nothing to do with JetBrains. It's interesting though. They're in the wrong country though for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
definitely gonna get accused a lot. But I love their tools.
Yeah, they're really good, and
I love Team City too. I've used that thing a million times.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what am I working on here? Okay, but yeah, and if there are more questions, let's keep talking. So disable movement during dialogue. Ugh. Man, I need to change the layout of this room even. If I was to rotate everything, I don't know. But yeah, maybe the translation is the right way to go. Is just to say, for this level, translate this way. Okay, so
yeah, the easiest thing is just using a game object with like the world direction.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. All right, so I'll add that to the checklist too. So world direction should be configurable. All right, so we got my keyboard movement. We have okay, so we immediately go into dialogue. So the dialogue manager probably needs to say, "Hey, stop moving."
Oh, okay. So when the dialogue manager's up, you just want to disable that component, movement one.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how I disabled movement in the first place. So you get to the waypoint, and then it fires off this stuff. Oh, and then it says continue. So really,
since these are on separate game objects and separate prefabs, do you want to use your events now, your scriptable object events, to send that message over?
Yeah, we could do that. Let me figure out what I was doing before first. So we got the dialogue manager. The dialogue manager has this on dialogue wait event, and then it fires the events. Okay, so Yeah. So really, yeah, this waypoint dialog rate events. So in here, we could just say something like disable movement on dialog wait. Yeah, okay. And then let's jump over to that script. Okay, so we have those game events now. So is this going to be a game event listener? Oh, actually, yeah. So we should.
You don't need to make any new scripts, right?
That's true. That's true.
You just need to get a reference to that event and then invoke it, and then listen to it on the other thing to disable the object.
Yeah. Let's make it happen.
So on that player, you would put the game event listener, and you would listen for the turn off event, and then in that case, turn the thing off. Or turn that component off, essentially,
Listener.
right? You disable that one component.
And so I need to go to my scriptable objects, and then we just say something like disable movement and enable movement. Yeah, that might get cluttered pretty quickly, though. That's the only.
Oh yes, with events.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely end up with a ton of them.
All right. So enable
I think
movement
it'd be a problem.
is just gonna be
Right, then you just need to fire that off from wherever, from your dialog manager whenever you want to enable it.
not the escort. What in the world? Okay, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to disable my. Oh, I see. Okay, keyboard movement enabled equals false. And then add another listener, right? Same thing, game event listener. We're gonna say, oh, whoops, that one's, yeah, okay, so this one's disable, so this one's that. And then, can I just copy that? Copy, paste. Okay, so disable movement, enable movement. And then, so we still need to fire that game event, right?
Right, then you would just fire that from your dialog system.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, you might even want to rename these to, and maybe not. 'Cause I was thinking like they could be like on like dialogue start, dialogue end, or something. If you wanted to do other things when dialogues popped up. And
Oh,
stuff,
I
right?
see. Yeah, I mean it'll keep the reference, right? So you just say dialogue start.
Yeah, I mean you could rename. It just depends on how you'd end up using them if you ended up using them from another spot, I guess.
Yeah.
What the best name would be.
So on dialogue end, we re-enable the movement. On dialogue start, we disable it. And I'm just gonna reorder these. Oh, can I reorder these scripts?
Yeah, the components.
There. Oh, I gotta go into the prefab now.
Oh yeah.
I'll worry about that in a bit. Okay, so on dialogue start, disable. Okay, so really in the HUD canvas, dialogue manager. All right, we're gonna open this guy up. Dialogue manager. Do we actually? Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have like a Unity events for.
Or like when the dialogue starts and stops.
Yeah, starts and stops. But can I
Yeah.
use the Unity event, or do I need to use the game event here?
Yeah, I mean you can use the Unity event and just link in the game event, right? You just drop the
Okay.
game
Yeah,
event.raise in there as the target.
That'd be great.
Because then you can just drop in whatever you want.
Okay,
So there were a couple of questions in chat too.
Yeah, go for it.
Somebody said that this amount of scripts looks crazy. You do have a lot of scripts, but I mean it builds up over time. It's like it looks crazier as you go along. Starts off small.
And I think the big thing is that they're all really small scripts, and so
That's true.
yeah, bringing the size of your scripts down and making them multiple scripts, I think is a really good way of keeping the code maintainable, because a lot of it, as long as you don't have all these dependencies, these side dependencies on each of the scripts, then you're going to reduce the number of errors that you're going to have and everything.
Yeah, where it gets scary too is when you have like the big giant mega scripts, right? And then you might have like some small ones, but then you got like a bunch of 10,000 line scripts that are linking into those and stuff. Oh, terrible. sorry, just having flashbacks real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go into the actual questions though, instead of having nightmares. So one person asked if you planned on changing the textures that you were doing, because apparently your bridge is using your door texture.
I don't know if it's using the door texture, but it's using a texture that came with the BitGem stuff, and so that
like
might be
a
what
wood.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Just a generic wood. So I assume not unless you get another bridge, but you probably won't be doing that soon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else. There might be the camera. Oh, okay, that's. Lost context on that. Oh, and then one of the other things people were saying, they just kind of joined and they were curious what it was you're actually working on. So maybe just tell everybody who's just joined recently, like,
yeah.
about your game, because so far you've been showing a lot of the code, we've been working through ad and stuff, but you've been working on this game for like a year and it's supposed to ready to release, right? And it's playable,
Yeah,
and now you
exactly.
just decided to go in the last hour switch it up, so it went from linear on Rails to you can now move around with WASD, go open stuff up, and now you're just adding in a couple more features, or actually making it so that when you stop at an NPC now, it doesn't allow you to WASD it past them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So,
I have to show the game in a minute once we get the next bit of code done.
let me yeah. Actually, somebody just came to my front door and I don't know why. So let me I'm gonna put up a little video of it, and then I will be right back.
Okay, yeah. Just play the gameplay video. Everybody can see what the game looks like while you go check the door.
Yeah, let's see trailer.
I'll look at the questions in both of the chats and see if anything pops up. And
let me see real
answer
fast.
them while they're
I'll
going.
be able to find this.
Let's see. Oh, somebody wants to see a boss fight. I'm sure we can see that in just a little bit. He
Yeah.
definitely has a couple different boss fights that act different. And yeah, you can if you click on the link in my stream or you're on his, you should be able to grab the demo right now and just play it. And I think the first boss fight's in there, so you can go through and play that too. Let's see. What else is in chat? Oh, okay. There's a question about the alpha stuff in there too. I'll have to bring that up to him, but about just filtering out the objects if you can't see through them. That's actually not too difficult to do. It might be something worth doing in here. I think the reason he hadn't done it yet, though, is mostly just because previously everything was working on a camera system where it would just kind of lock around and get the best shot of your character. So it's using the literal clear shot camera setup where it finds the best shot or the clearest shot where there's no obstructions to your character. So I think once if he ends up going with this top-down mode where you have the free roam stuff, which I think he's looking pretty convinced, then that's probably very likely that it'll make the things just be transparent if they're like blocking your character and you can't see them or something. Or like make walls so that you can see through them. It's a pretty common technique and relatively easy to do. Oh no, his video loop ended. Now nobody can see the game either. Let's see if there are any other questions in chat. Get this up on my YouTube channel streaming too. See anything? But I hear Chris. some good entertainment. Oh, okay. There was a question about could you not set up the camera to automatically correct the movement direction. In fact, yeah, one of the things that you could do, and I think you might end up doing, is linking up that movement object to just read the camera's orientation, so that when he's doing the offset right now, it's WASD and it moves. Hey, welcome back, Chris. It moves based on the orientation of the world, but he could just essentially multiply that by the, to find the exact method, but you use the orientation of the camera and translate it by that, and then you could get the correct direction so that it was WASD no matter what direction the camera was in. It just feels a little bit weird when the camera turns and the world turns, and your character's still moving in the same direction when you're actually playing. But yeah, it's definitely something to do, and probably will end up doing, I guess, sometime soon.
All right. So when the stream went down yesterday, I called the cable company. They just came out to look at everything, and they said no packet loss at all. So they said everything's fine. Everything's fine.
No packet loss, but what about the speed?
yeah, exactly.
The problem was your speed dropped down to 0.
Okay, so I don't know if this fired or not, because the mouse and keyboard piece is still active. I can still move around. I should print something out when these happen, because I don't know exactly. Oh, wait. I don't think I wasn't done here firing these, I think. So
I don't think you hooked up the event to... Right, I think you were adding the Unity events. I don't know if you actually invoked them yet. Yeah, you set them up. Did you call the part to invoke them? Yeah, no references.
On dialogue end. Oh, I guess on dialogue wait is the other one that... Okay, so this one is activate the UI. So maybe on dialogue wait was always the one that... If the story can't continue, then we're pausing the dialogue. So yeah, okay, I'm just gonna put that in there as a separate thing now. It might look kind of duplicate-y, but...
Yeah. I assume you're doing something every time on a wait then.
Yeah.
Or you were considering it, at least. It looked like it was empty, so...
Yeah, I think on certain levels it has some purpose, but okay, so here, okay, so on dialogue wait there, dialogue end dot invoke. So every one of these dialogue waits should have a dialogue end invoke as well on them. Dialogue wait end, dialogue wait end. Okay, we're good.
But should you be calling the end on everyone?
It's ending when it's waiting, or it's pausing, I guess, is why I called it wait, probably. And so...
But it should only end when you run out of dialogue, right? Like when the dialogue's closing?
Yes. And I think that's what wait was doing originally.
Okay. I think I might have misread that code then.
Man, these events, oh man. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They get really nice for just letting you decouple the code part.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's the whole thing. I can create prefabs now and not have to worry about where the event's coming from.
Yeah. I think I'm going to record a video on that soon. I was prepping one up this morning. So.
Yep. So it fired, it turned off our move, so I can't WASD right now. Oh, apparently I have something turning me around though. Do I still have it? So he's gonna turn around like that. What the heck? Okay, so continue through that. and it re-enabled, so that looks good. I can walk over to my chest. I feel my movement feels kind of floaty right now. I wonder what that was. Oh, maybe that's just
floaty.
Yeah, I feel like I'm drifting, like you know, like Need for Speed or something like that. Like his back kind of slides behind the turn a little bit.
Yeah, that's not too surprising. That's just because it's using the Nav Mesh Agent, and the Nav Mesh Agent does the rotating and turning and stuff.
Yeah.
I think if you just snap the direction, you'll be fine. And then when your input magnitude is 0, just stop the agent so he actually stops instantly. Because right now, when you let go, you're going to end up going 1 meter away no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're pressing to the right, as soon as you let go, your destination's still 1 meter to the right. So you're going to move a full meter before you stop. So you just got to stop the agent completely in the code. Clean that part up. Yeah, somebody was asking how long you've been working on this project. I thought it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share it because I'm still kind of blown away. It's been just
It's been
over a year, right?
Yep.
Like that you've been working on this, and it's been 6 hours a week,
Yep.
2 hours, basically 2 hours a night, 3 days a week. That you've been working on it, and it's been a big progression, like step by step. And obviously you didn't make all the art and stuff. You're
very
art packs
incremental, and then
buying art, but you've done all the code and the design and development and stuff. So, and it's been really quick. I mean, it shows what, some planning and just persistence and just continually working a little bit at a time on making the thing better and pushing it forward can do. Well, that with a little bit of skill. Right?
I don't know if I have any of that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So this one was the third-person controller, I think. Third-person user controller. No, is that what I... Oh, escort keyboard movement. Oh. I don't think I need this script anymore. Let's remove that. Oh, jeez. Did I just remove the wrong one? Undo. Okay, hang on. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to remove that. There's this escort keyboard movement, and then there's the third-person controller. Escort keyboard movement's the one that we want, so I'm going to remove this third-person keyboard controller, and then I think I will... Oh, you know what? Maybe the drifting is because I left that other script on him, which is possible. But yeah. Working on the game, just Kanban and persistence, and actually, one thing that was really motivating to me making the game that I don't know if have been as motivated is just having people to finding a group of other game developers that also. Oh geez. Okay, so that other thing was causing all of the flags to turn on the movement. Okay. Yeah, having other, finding a group of other people making games too, and then demoing to each other often. I think it just as a community is something that's really powerful, I think.
Do you think that was probably the biggest impact? Just having a group of people that you're showing stuff to weekly that are interested in the same kind of thing, and a lot of them are doing the same thing, right? Like a lot of the guys in the
game wouldn't be nearly as good because one thing that I think was big early on, the camera shakes and the particle effects just are all juicy effects, right? Yeah. And so I think that we encourage each other to do more juice in our games and not just bare bones mechanics and other things like that. And so there's a number of things that I just came out ahead on, and so the game might be kind of similar to this, but it definitely wouldn't be nearly as good. And so and basically kind of graduating to early access, I want to kind of keep doing that and then get more and more feedback from people as I go. And it's fun. Yeah, it's entertaining.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference. I think just having groups of people to report to feel accountable to, I think can help. It can help motivate people to stay and not give up or not switch or get distracted with shiny object syndrome, right? If you get that and you show up at your weekly call that you're meeting with the friends and you're like, hey, I decided to switch something, people are like, yeah, they're gonna call you out, and and hopefully get you right back on the right track there. One of the other things that I think is interesting from having a group of developers to work with is the new things that you learn about too, the new tools or techniques or tricks that you'll come across. Like I know you've, outside of the juicing stuff up in the design side, came across all kinds of different assets and stuff and recommendations from people in the group that you're in, and I assume that that's been pretty helpful too.
Yes, absolutely.
I think people, like everybody out there, that if you're into game development, you should definitely find or start some sort of a game development group of your own. It can be remote, just set up some weekly. I mean, I think weekly is the best. Like set up some weekly meetings and just start doing it. Doesn't like the one that you're talking about started off really small, and they just kind of, it grows over time. If you're consistent with it and you build it up, you can grow it into your own little community of people that are doing the same kind of thing. And you want to have people that are around the same targets and same level, right? That are doing the same kind of things. Yeah. And it can work out really well. So I recommend anybody that's not in some sort of a little mastermind type group or something, just go make one. Find a couple people who you think will be dedicated and interested, and invite them, and then let more people in and grow it and try it out. It's a great way to, I think, really just push yourself forward and make things happen. I've never known anybody that regretted it.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, like what I might, if you don't know like where to go to like start one of these things, like I would go on Reddit or something, the Unity 3D made with Unity Reddit, and just say, does anybody want to start a mastermind there, and or some other places. But I'm like normally I'm a director of like a group of software developers, and so I actually had another kind of colleague basically say, hey, I want to make a mastermind for directors of software, and so I was like, so now I'm part of like 2 of these right now, and it's just so helpful, like in everything that you do. It's kind of like a cool thing to just get real kind of raw feedback from people, like-minded people. It really helps.
People who are doing the same thing.
Yeah,
that's where the value really comes in, because I mean, when you're working on games and you get feedback from your friends and family, like they're going to give you a nice version of general public feedback, but they're not going to give you really good actionable stuff like people who are also making games of their own and in the exact same situation, or people who are working on the same kind of business thing or management setup or whatever the thing is that you're interested in. You want to find groups of people like that, and if the group's not perfect, change it up and find a new one. But it's really valuable.
Absolutely.
And somebody saying hello from Turkey. Hello.
Yes.
But there was a question for you on throughout that year. Did you ever think about just quitting the project? Like, you ever think about just giving up on this game and not doing it?
It's I think I set myself, I basically said, it doesn't matter when I finish, I just want to spend 6 hours a week doing game development. And then I also know that like if I keep chasing the shiny thing, like I'll never finish. And so there was a little bit of this like, okay, well, don't chase the shiny thing, and so that ended up helping. But a lot of the games, so what I would say is publish your projects, right? So because I think on previous projects I have thought about it before and just being like, hey, I should go on to this other project or something like that. But the worst situation you could be in is like having created 5 games but never finishing any of them or never publishing any of them.
Right.
And so early on I decided I'm not going to take the risk of not finishing it. Like I'm going to finish it regardless. And if I'm too tired to continue on with it, then I will work to publish it anyway. I have one unpublished game, which is like multiplayer game that just became too hard to test, and so that's when I decided to kind of like back it out. But yeah, I mean, so you know, the thoughts crossed my mind of like definitely like moving on to other stuff. Like I think you know, I saw somebody that was doing a ECS dots sort of game, and I was like, man, that'd be really cool. I should just abandon this and like make a game with thousands of units in it. And so, but that's just like not where it is. And even now, I'm basically saying like, as soon as I go into early access right now, I'm gonna put in at least another year into this. And so just kind of like mentally committing yourself to it, I think is a really positive thing to do. And so yeah, so it's definitely happened. It's definitely been thought about, but not something I'd want to entertain. Yeah,
right. So you've learned the lesson, I guess, from the last time.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to keep doing that.
Exactly.
Makes sense. I have a question for you, Chris. Where are your shadows?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Just noticed that. Look, I'm like, there's no shadows in here. Hold on.
Have I ever had shadows? I don't know. Maybe they're turned off. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can turn on.
Yeah, we fixed that frame rate problem right here, Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
No more frame rate being too high.
Oh, I have to go into the settings from the other level. Hang on.
I wonder if the that settings thing turned them all the way down or something on.
I think so. I think that's what it is. Although I don't know. I can't, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember the last time I have seen shadows in the game. So now I'm like, maybe they don't exist. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see. I'll go look at the store page just to make sure.
Like, all right, guys, we're gone. You can kill the internet.
Yeah, they just left. God, it's so frustrating. It's just such a inconvenient time for any of that stuff to happen, right? What I was showing real fast, and I don't know, is my stream still dead? Is my stream dead?
It just popped up. Oh, no, your stream is. Wait.
There
Yeah, no, I see your stream. Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, you're good. You're good again. Yeah.
So, what I
love that your cable guy just left though and told you there's no problem at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Bam.
Jeez.
Goodbye.
He just backed up. He backed his truck up into the transformer or something.
Pulled the cable out with him.
So this demo right here, this demo button was missing earlier, and so it's a Steam configuration. So if you don't check off a checkbox, then your demo button goes way down here and it's tiny and blue. And so, and then if you do check it off, it's like bright and green and way up here. And so I just thought that was kind of crazy. If anybody watching the stream has a Mac, you should go and try and play the Mac version just to see if it works.
Curious, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I've tested it out already, but I just thought that was kind of funny. Anyway,
you got 188 hours played.
Oh yeah. Well, that's actually that other game I was working on, the multiplayer game. I hooked it up to Steam a long time ago.
Okay.
And this was that same game. Like this, the configuration for this game was the same, and so that's why it's so high. But yeah, you do sit in the editor quite a bit.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing a lot of Steam games, the VR ones especially. the SDK would bug out. So you would start it and it would say that you'd logged in, and it wouldn't ever say that you logged out. So like I had like just days and days of played time on every game that I'd ever worked on, because it would just keep stacking up every time I logged in. It would like time out after I think a day or two, but
Yeah.
you know, it would just keep going constantly. It was crazy.
Okay, so you have these soft shadows under him, but there's so many lights in here, I think. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. Oh, you're probably still watching the... Yeah. So there are these, like... They're just not harder shadows, but I have way too many lights in the map right now. Or too
Okay,
much
I think
light.
I can maybe kind of see the shadows, but yeah, it's not much. Did you just have light coming from all different directions?
Yeah, basically there's like a light right over his head. Let me see if I...
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah.
If I disable this light... Where is that light? Light right here. So I have like this orange, more orange light, kind of happening. So it'll show up on the stream right now. But yeah. So he turned off the lights.
Oh, and that one doesn't shadow cast either. It has no shadow set.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Hard shadows. Oh wow. There you go. I like that. Okay. Interesting. How many lights have I set up like that? Alright, so I'm going to go back over to that other level. Interesting, interesting. Actually, the main menu might look better with hard shadows too. Fascinating. I learn something all the time. All the time. Always learning. Always learning. I think hard shadows.
Benefit of coding in front of people. I like your bounce community.
The what?
Your bounce
yeah,
community.
yeah.
But I just noticed that it shows the tag in there.
Yeah. Join the Discord and give me feedback. That's that's the community button there. But yeah, it was I liked putting that in. That text animation pack is just, I've used that a lot now.
Oh, that was another one from you having a mastermind group, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that was yeah. Somebody from the group emailed me, and I was like, "Geez, that's awesome." Okay, so now I'm gonna have lots of shadows. These should be no shadow, probably the fire pits. Point light. What are these point lights for? Now I can't even remember why these lights are here. Interesting. All right, let's turn that off. Okay, what are these lights about? Those are just lighting up the world a little bit. I'm gonna disable all of these and see what the game looks like. That looks like I messed up somewhere and just put a bunch of point lights everywhere for no reason. The light that I wanted to pay attention to was still disabled, I think. Oh no, real-time indirect bounce shadowing is not supported for spot and point lights.
That's the indirect multiplier value, and set higher to 0.
Oh, so they're just 0 here? Okay. Real-time shadows.
But I mean, that's just for the shadow. You're fine. I don't think you can kind of ignore that. But are you seeing the light? Are you seeing the shadow?
I don't think I was. Yeah, see, it's like no shadow and then hard shadow. Oh, but let's see this directional light. If I turn off the shadows on that. And then soft shadows, hard shadows, no shadows. I don't know. That's bizarre. It feels wrong because like as soon as I had set it to hard shadows, it like really showed up, and then now it's like just lower quality shadows. I don't know why. Use quality settings very high. Yeah, they just like don't show up right now, but they were showing up. I don't know what that was about. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna go back to the main menu and then come back in because I have the quality settings now set all the way up again. That's something that I need to do is convert to URP, I think, but that's gonna be a huge pain.
Oh, that should be relatively easy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, assuming that you're not using too many custom things for overlays and other random stuff, it's like, I don't know if you've done the conversion before, but
I've tried it once. Oh yeah, see the shadows are coming through pretty good right now, but
okay.
also I don't know if I need it to be. Yeah, that was really weird. So if I start the scene from one of the scenes and don't go from the main menu, then it doesn't turn off doesn't turn on the settings for the shadows. So maybe that's why. But yeah, all the shadows are showing up here.
Oh, is the main menu changing your graphics quality settings and like your lighting settings and stuff?
Yes. Yeah, it
That's
is.
probably why. Yeah, it's probably turning it up, and you probably have it down too low to not show the lights or something.
Yeah. Okay. So here we got these stretching shadows. I mean, that looks really cool, right? Like, oh, geez, from the pillar especially.
Yeah, that looks cool. I like that.
That's really interesting. I don't know.
I like it. I like the shadow under the weapon too.
Yeah. It looks a lot better like that for
Yeah.
sure. I need to decide. So I have this like point light right above him, and that's kind of giving me my like area of visibility. I don't know if I should do that or not. Like, what do you think?
I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it like makes him like the focus, right? He's lit up, and it works well for the lighting.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see any downside. I don't know if you can do something better. I mean, I'm not an artist or a designer though, so like I'm terrible at like. I'm sure there are a million ways you can make it look prettier, but I'm not the one to recommend them.
I mean, yeah. Well, anyway, the shadows look really good, and
yeah, I like it though. I think it looks good.
Yeah, good. That's definitely a good catch. So one thing I do need to do is probably make sure that gets actually updated for all of the. Let's see. So this.
Oh yeah, for your other build too.
Yeah, apply that. Yeah, just on the other levels. Now this point light here also did no shadows, but also was. I don't know why. Are these like basically the same thing? Yeah, slightly more intense, higher up version of the same light. And so apparently there was a light removed. This one, this one's just disabled, so I'm going to disable that one and pick up. Okay. Okay, so things are going really good. We have shadows now. What was I working on?
You just fixed the part to stop the player from moving around when dialogue popped up. So you're using those global game events to send a message across to stop the player. And I think that was done, right?
Yeah. So
you just finished that, and then I started giving you crap about your lack of shadow.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like with the shadows turned down. That's really interesting. That's going to really bother me now. It looks so much better the other way around. Okay, so right now I'm hitting WASD. Nothing's happening. As soon as I kind of click through real fast, now WASD works. So that's pretty cool. Oh yeah. What a question. I'm probably gonna release this, but I'm gonna have to. Oh man, I don't know. That's interesting. Okay. I'm gonna delete these other point lights. I think this was a mistake. I don't know why they were here. All right. So now, so probably we need the waypoints to fire on a trigger enter so that I can keep more of the story consistent.
Yeah, you need to set those up now so that when you walk into them, they fire instead of when you reach them from the nav mesh.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so fire event. The intro makes him wait. Oh yeah, because that's the very beginning. Then so this intro hallway is the very first waypoint. So these waypoints really could just have a collision on them, and then everything else should probably work the same.
Just gonna add a box collider and a non-trigger enter.
I think so. Yeah, so let's see, on the waypoint here, the waypoints just fire off a bunch of, on fire events and then invoke, and that's the fire events. So let's just do a on trigger enter here, and we'll just say escort health, and then we'll say other dot get component, escort health, and then import that, and then say if escort health is null, return, and then we're gonna say fire events. Simple enough. And then over here,
Somebody was asking if you use occlusion culling in here. I assume you don't use that system at all in this game, but
no, I don't use it. But it's something that I should do eventually.
Well, you probably don't necessarily need it here because it's not gonna. Occlusion culling comes in really handy when there's a lot of things blocking stuff. But since you're doing that top-down view all the time anyway, I don't think that there's really much being occluded that you would save from. Like for people who haven't used occlusion culling before, it's essentially like a setup that'll allow you to speed up the rendering of your game almost automatically in Unity. You just kind of enable it and run a little option there, and it'll stop it from rendering things that are like behind another building. So if there's like a big building in front of you and there are a bunch of trees behind it, it will handle the don't draw these trees in front of the camera, or don't do the heavy work of that. Since you're top down though, I don't think that you'd get any real benefit, except for like those couple times when you switch the camera.
Yeah, I mean, so in occlusion culling, doesn't it require, isn't there some sort of requirement around, like if you're looking top down, wouldn't it cull everything around what you're looking at, or does the render?
Well, there's nothing occluding it, right? Those things are already culled because they're just outside of the view frustum, so they're not in something that the camera would see, so they're already culled. The occlusion culling just stops it from rendering things that are completely blocked by another object.
Got it.
Right, or like if you're in a room and there's another room next to you, it doesn't render the things that are in that room next to you if you look at the wall that you're sharing, and then put the wall in front of them, right? It only does the wall.
Oh yeah, so that on trigger enter worked, but it fired it twice, so that's interesting.
Interesting. Did it fire the trigger enter twice, or did it just do the thing twice?
Yeah. Let's see, on trigger enter. Oh man.
Gonna fire for every time your axe flies in there. Like bam, trigger enter. Bam.
Yeah. That could be exactly it. Trigger entered by escort.
I assume that the escort health is on a separate object, though.
Yeah, that's it's just on the imp walking around. So the escort is and really that name needs to change now to like the secondary character or something like that. But
okay. Now your imp health.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I guess you're gonna change it, right? Or are you considering that?
I don't know. I mean, so the world is completely changing around the game right now, because if you're gonna do WASD, then both characters are like essentially main characters. So like do you equip items on the imp? Do you equip items on the skull? Does the imp get spells? Does like there's all these questions that I need to answer now. Like,
somebody was mentioning in chat too, if you switch to URP, that it doesn't support shadows on point lights until 2021.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you got to go to the latest one or switch to like a spotlight or something else.
Okay, so that's...
I didn't even think about, or go to HDRP if you're going to be PC only. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking URP just because HDRP like has so many more artistic requirements. Like finding HDRP art content, especially hand painted, is like going to be super rare. All right, so a couple of things were wrong there. Let's see. So our waypoint needs... okay, that needs to be a trigger, so we're good. I'm still getting the 3 audio listeners problem, and I thought I fixed that earlier.
Just search for audio listeners.
I discarded it.
Oh, yeah, you deleted your changes.
I did.
I forgot about that.
That's silly. Silly me. That is on the HUD canvas. No, yeah. Portraits. All right, so we're going to open this prefab. We're going to go to these cameras and make sure there's no audio listener. Check the third one, make sure there's not one there. And we're good, I think. All right, so now we should be able to see our debug log properly. Yeah, so actually getting the players to use WASD now, it's also going to be a thing.
Oh, you got to tell them to do it, right?
Yep.
Put something in there.
So far, my tutorials have been really just move your mouse around and see how cool it is, but now it's a little bit, you have to be a little bit more hammer over the head. Interesting. Oh, you know what? Maybe the error, maybe removing the cameras actually, or the, oh, and so this should have let me break the barrel. Why is this not letting me break it? Huh. Interesting.
What happened when you tried to break it?
It's still not been activated. So this barrel is special in that it's a tutorial to like break the barrel. And so
With the activation code just in the call?
Yeah.
Is that in the waypoint, the all enemies dead part, or?
Yeah, it should be in the waypoint itself. So in the waypoint, right here, it should have said, wait, start the dialogue. Then it'll enable the destructible and set it to no longer be kinematic, and then it like re-enables the destruction of it. It almost feels like that didn't fire. Waypoint dialogue, wait events. Escort movement, wait.
Did it switch the kinematic?
Oh, you know what? This wait ends up happening. Okay. So that wait is not good either. Okay, let's try this again. So yeah, we'll see if it fires and check the kinematic as well. But I think that it's just calling a script that's currently turned off as well. So there's some weirdness for sure.
Interesting.
All right, so we'll go this way. Ah, see, like, okay, it triggered twice. Yes, so the enter trigger fired twice, so we're gonna have to make sure that it can only happen once.
So why did it fire twice, though?
I don't know.
Are you leaving and re-entering the trigger? I mean, you shouldn't be. That wouldn't make a lot of sense.
It pushed me out. Yeah.
When
so-
you click on, are the both of those events the same? I guess they must. Is it the same object?
No,
Here.
I mean they're two different objects, but it's firing twice every time.
Do you have two triggers on there?
Oh, maybe.
Like two copies of that collider that are the same?
The escort does have multiple. No. Well, it has the capsule collider and a sphere collider on it.
I wonder if both of those are entering separately.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I was thinking maybe the area had two box colliders on it, but
Let's try.
if you ever tried walking a guy in with two colliders on them, I would have thought that it would only hit from the one rigid body, but maybe it would hit both of the colliders. I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, maybe there's three of them, to be honest, to be worried about. Alright, so try that one more time. I keep expecting him to move, like as soon as I'm done with the dialogue. I can't reach this one anymore. I need to make that trigger bigger. Boom. Yeah, so that one only entered it once. Continue. Oh yeah, and he's kind of stuck in place. Oh. Yeah, that fires off again. So yeah, the trigger needs to only happen once anyway, because I can always leave it and come back in.
Right. Well, you could just disable the script when you enter it, right? Like the second you enter it, just disable yourself. Just do enable equals false, and then it won't fire again.
Now, yeah, this. Okay, so the barrel itself does not appear to be. Oh, that's.
I lied because that. Wait, no, that is that script doing more than just the trigger enter?
No, the trigger enter just fires the events. The events
Okay.
should then enable those things. But the barrel is still kinematic.
Oh,
And
did the
so-
event fire?
I don't think it did.
Wait,
so-
it was. You sure it was targeting that object? I don't remember it targeting an object named Tutorial Bomb.
Let me see here. Okay.
It was targeting something's kinematic, but that does not sound familiar.
Bomb explodes on collision, enable destruction, and is kinematic on the rigid body. But tutorial bomb is the object on each of them. Yeah.
And it's the correct Tutorial Bomb thing. It's not like a prefab reference or something. If you
Yeah,
click
no,
on
it is. I mean, it was working on the original waypoints. So
okay.
this event is actually just not being fired.
There's not an error in your event in your console, is there?
No, there wasn't. Not
Like
this
from the enable destruction, throwing an exception, and then preventing the next event from firing.
No. Let's see. Waypoint dialog manager on active. On activate fire events. So this waypoint, yeah. Dialog events invoke. Is that what I was looking at? I'm confused. Okay, so we have the waypoint, which fires that thing, and then this is waypoint dialog wait events. The dialog manager fires on dialog wait, which then just fires those, and then it says invoke this and then remove the handler. And so this on activate is up here, which then gets called for the waypoint activate, which is called from oh. The waypoint's not getting activated, which is weird. Okay, so
So your other code is registering all these, but it's never firing them.
Yeah, exactly. The waypoint itself has something called activate.
Okay, and
Which-
that needs to be called. You could just call that on from the trigger, right?
Yeah, exactly. So activate and then fire events. Yeah, so that's probably redundant now, but that was an artifact of the need for the waypoint system.
Right. Makes sense. Somebody was asking how you got all your assets and art. I think I'm just gonna answer it for you.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Humble bundles in the asset store and all kinds of other crazy deals and BitGem, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You mostly just found art that you thought looked really cool and matched with the theme and bought it up at great discounts and started pulling it in and finding the different pieces and then mixing that in with lighting and post effects and other stuff and particles went a long way. And I remember you saying that you'd spent under $1,000 total on this, and I mean, the majority of this stuff is probably under a couple $100, right? Just...
Yeah. I mean, you can get there's some packs, like there's a humble bundle. Usually, every few months there's a humble bundle that you could make a whole game out of.
Yeah. I think that almost always there's at least one up for like $20 where you can get hundreds of art assets and music and all kinds of other stuff to make a game. You just gotta.
There was a card game creator humble bundle. And I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but all of these cards the art assets for these cards, which are physical cards, actually came from a humble bundle that was like $20, and we made a full card game out of it, which was really cool. My wife and I did.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so humble bundle is really fun. There's a lot of great.
You gotta hold those
assets.
up higher.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. So this was our epic tale. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, I got a visitor.
All right, go for it. Yeah, I'll be here. But the humble bundle's super fun. You can make a lot of progress with very little time by getting some of that art assets up and running.
All right.
All good. Okay, so boom, yeah, it's gone. Except my my ability to move forward. So my camera now has transposed. And then obviously, okay, so really we just need to set the camera back and we should be golden. Oh, but how do I do that? Because it was all in the dialogue. Oh, I just put that in the dialogue. Okay, in the Inky script.
Yeah, or you just make it whenever your dialogue closes, just switch back to that camera.
Yeah. Hey, so it's 4 o'clock now. I don't know if you want to. How long do you want?
Yeah,
to go?
I've got to get to another training in like an hour or two. So
okay.
My wife is just coming in here to remind me. So.
Okay. Do you want to call it here? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
We do some more streaming later.
Yeah. So I'll stream all day tomorrow. So
cool.
Just let me know.
All right. Well, hey, thanks to everybody for coming out.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. It's wishlist the game, please, and it's been a lot of fun. And keep asking questions. Hit me up